And we are now live. I do not know why it is not showing the chat, but how is everybody doing? Oh.
Off the chat out.
No, what I'm getting at is on the screen, it's not showing chat. So maybe if I open Restream, it'll kick it into high gear. But how is everybody this evening? We are sitting here with our coffee. I've got my Marauders map mug out.
Look at this guy with his Marauders map
He's
mug.
so happy about that new cup.
That just became a new tongue twister. Marauders map mug, Marauders map mug, Marauders map mug.
This is
M&M.
Triple M? M&M. It's an anemone.
I got all geared up tonight for Star Wars. Got my Star Wars jacket on tonight. Pretty excited about this. You know, we love talking Star Wars, but
there we go.
For sure.
Now it is starting to bring up chat. I guess I just had to prime it by talking. So
just caress it. Caress it.
Caress the chat.
Oh yes, you sexy little thing, you. You just gotta. You got to lean over into its ear and just whisper sweet nothings.
And I'm the one with the ice cream cake.
I was gonna say you might be running some of the chat off if you start working like that.
Right. Either that or they're gonna start tossing ones at you, one or the other.
Hey, if I had super chat on, I'd take ones.
Yeah, no doubt. That's funny.
But
you can ring my bell.
But how is everyone? We do want to say hi to those that are out there. We see Vape Princess. We see Jay. We see, of course, the Roach.
What's up, Roach?
And that is all that we are seeing in chat currently.
What kind of Roach?
Welcome, everybody. I think he's a one of the giant roaches.
Palmetto bug?
No, one of the big ones that they put on TV, like on Fear Factor, that you have to eat.
The hissing cockroaches?
Yes.
It's a hard working roach there, trust me.
Right? No doubt.
Of course, I'm sitting here repping, even though I'm not sponsored by him, Savage CBD. Because I don't know if you guys can tell a difference. I have not had any pain last night. And I did the work that normally I am in tears.
And you're also bouncy.
Good.
Yeah, just because I had CBD. Even though I was sitting on the couch downstairs dozing off again.
I kind of figured.
I was wondering, those links are getting to me later and later and later.
I'm here's the thing.
Are we doing it? Are we doing it? Are we doing it?
The reason the links are coming so late now is because I'm turning my computer off. So that in case it's overheating, it's not
Hey, pal.
Too
you
hot.
Change your background.
Oh, yeah, thank you. But
Welcome.
It's so that it doesn't get too hot on me. Even though, I'm already hot, but I mean,
oh, yeah.
I don't want the background overshining me and getting too hot.
I got you.
I got to make sure.
I want to give an update. So we played D&D yesterday. It was a 6-7 hour session. I was able to level up. I actually killed about 8 goblins yesterday. And I found a way to basically run an assembly line as they came at me. I just grabbed them and threw them in the fire one by one. I think I killed 6 goblins just by throwing them in this fire pit that was next to me. And they just kept catching on fire and catching on fire. So
Now, my question is, you said you played for 6-7 hours. What's the longest D&D session you've ever had?
probably about 12 or 13.
Holy shit.
Yeah, but that was when I was a lot younger.
And once again, everybody, if you're a geek, if you're here tonight, that means you're probably a geek or you just want to hear about geeky stuff. I do recommend going on the Lakeside Collection. They've got these on sale right now, $4.99 or $5.99, depending on if you're a member or not. This one is the Marauders map. They've got a Batman, a Wonder Woman, and they have, of course, Star Wars. Star Wars I'm saving for Saturday. But...
Was that loud?
Yeah, but you're fine.
Yeah.
All right. I'll be back in a second. You know me.
But of course, we have the debate of the century going tonight. Which is better? Star Wars or Star Trek?
Yeah. I think you guys know which side I lean towards.
I vote Minions.
Right over here. You know.
Me, I'm torn. I am torn, in all honesty.
I feel like it's two different sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Because without Star Trek style, you don't get the space travel. You don't have the technology to get to that point. Mm-hmm. But without Star Wars, you don't see the rebellion against the man or against the entity that's the government. So I feel like it's kind of, it's showing the story of either side of that coin.
I can see that. And I mean, the thing is, I think, in all honesty, Star Trek did pave the way for Star Wars. The original TV series paved the way. Yes, it was a failure. But it was a success when the rerun came out.
I don't, I see what you're saying, but I really don't see how it was a failure. I mean, think about everything that came from Star Trek itself.
Most of that was not until reruns started.
That show the original Star Trek got canceled.
Yeah.
Well, I realize that, but I'm actually talking about real life shit. Like, how about the introduction to the interracial relationship?
Yeah. Which that was the first place that you really saw something like that, when Captain Kirk and Uhura, which you would never know something like that. Well, they hinted at that even in the new Star Trek, if you really think about it. Because Kirk hit on Uhura in the new Star Trek, too.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah.
But you're right. When it comes to space exploration and whatnot, they did pave the way through the rerun, I believe. I do agree. That's where they did gain their traction. Traction?
If you will. If you're going to go down that road, then you have to say Leia was one of the first feminist or women's rights activists that said, hey, I can do this on my own kind of situation.
I'm not disagreeing.
But I mean, too, she was, for lack of a better way to say it, at times, she was a total witch with a capital B.
Are you scared to cuss?
Here's the question you have to ask, okay? If there was a TV show Star Wars and a TV show Star Trek, and they were both playing on the same day, same time, which one would you watch?
That would depend. If you had the characters from the new movies with the new timeline, the J.J. Abrams timeline.
You talking Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Trek, starting off.
Okay.
Versus the whole Rey timeline issue. Honestly, I'd have to go to the Star Trek side because there'd be more going on. The new Star Wars is... I'm not as big of a fan of the three newest. Now, if they went back in time... If we were able to go back in time and take the original Star Wars characters and actually did their stories after Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, if we did the story after those two and had those characters from the originals, that I could set against the 1960s Star Trek, that I could see. But not looking at the new J.J. Abrams style versus, because I'll be honest, J.J. Abrams brought back Star Trek like you wouldn't believe. It gave it to a new generation of Trekkies.
He did, but what did he do?
He just brought new technology.
Well, no, he brought all the Star Wars action and adventure into the Star Trek realm.
Not really.
That's what made it better. Oh, come on. Star Trek was all about like negotiations and all of this.
And saving
fighting was a last resort, and now it's like fighting is the first resort.
Well, it was
Star Wars.
I really agree with that. When you do look at the original cast of Star Trek and you look at the motion pictures that they made, all 15 million of those fucking things, the only thing that's made more movies than Star Trek is Rocky. Okay, just saying.
I think Rambo's probably getting up there.
No, Star Trek was the original Star Trek characters was 6.
Well, that's cool, but even in the TV show plus the movies, they are all about exploration and learning new things. And there is zero doubt that the newer movies with Christopher Pine, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
I got it right this time.
You did.
I didn't say Christopher Pratt first.
You did not.
But, so the new movies with the new cast, they are all about the action. I'm talking all about the action. I fucking love that shit. Whether it be the fight scene on top of the drill in the very first movie, or the whole in the last movie Beyond, where they had all the little like motorcycle type things, and they were all connected like a hive, like a hive of bees, and they were flying around, and all the.
Just so you know, Skeletor, you're pulling in and out because you're moving away from your mic.
Oh, well, I apologize. That's why I usually sit like this, but I talk with my hands, so I don't want to hit my pop filter. But yeah.
That's why you need the setup I have, to where your mic is above you.
I'm too tall for that shit.
But I think that the original Star Trek really dealt and focused on like the kind of the geekdom of people that were into science and stuff like that. And Star Wars kind of appealed to the masses because it still had the sciencey part in it, but then it also had like the rough and tumble Han Solo, who was, a bad guy and an outlaw and the bad boy of the bunch. And that's what, attracts Leia and all that. So it kind of went through all genres, and Star Trek got boring to people that were not into the science and, the real geeky part of that over a short period of time, I think, personally.
Now, has anybody else noticed in the new movies, though, the Marvel crossover?
No. What's the Marvel crossover?
There is a Marvel crossover in the new Star Treks.
Now you're going to make me think.
I thought I had mentioned this during one show, and now that you guys are like,
I don't think you've mentioned it, to be honest.
A character in the new Star Treks was in Marvel. Is in the Marvel MCU. Maybe not, multiple characters. There's multiple characters, but one specific that really had a big part of the MCU.
I wouldn't even begin to.
All right, tell us, Master.
Yeah, right.
Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, I thought, yeah.
And
I thought you meant an actor. You're talking an actor, not a character.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but still, it's a crossover. It's still a crossover.
It is, okay, fine.
And if you really want to think about it, Ahura.
Absolutely.
Zoe Saldana.
Yeah.
She was Gamora. I mean,
yeah.
It's funny how many people from Star Wars or from Star Trek, the new ones, are now in Marvel too.
Right. And I think if you go back and look at some of the Star Trek shows, you're going to see a lot of young actors, coming up through the ranks that you saw them do, little bit parts in that as well.
Oh, yeah. And I have to admit, though, the best move J.J. Abrams could have ever done, as well as the individuals that wrote the new Star Treks, was connecting the originals to the news. Without it being the same story, but still connecting them with Spock. The original Leonard Nimoy Spock. Which there's a funny story to that. I don't know if I've ever said this on a show, but Leonard Nimoy's wife was on set while Leonard was filming for that show. She had to do a double take when the guy that was playing young Spock walked by because she thought it was Leonard.
Very cool.
If you really think about it, they could not have picked better actors to play them at that age.
Well, I know I think I
job.
said this the other day. I don't know whether we were on whether we were live or if it was after the show.
Zachary Quinto is his name.
Yes.
Before I forget it again. Yes.
Correct. I was actually just about to say that. But Zachary is the host of the new Beyond Belief type show that Leonard did. He is now they revamped that show and it's on the History Channel and Zachary hosts it, which I thought was pretty cool because In Search of Beyond or some shit like that.
I know. Number 2 or number 1 used to do that.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, he did as well.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and start the either or because I want to hear everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, fine. I think we should take turns.
Either, and this is going to be a good one, Emperor Palpatine or Khan.
Are we talking like better bad guy? I mean, what's the premise?
The better character.
Oh, the better character.
Now, mind you, both of them have 2 different characters, technically.
They do.
You have the Palpatine from 1 through 3, and
Right.
you have the Palpatine from 4, 5, and 6. But with Khan, you have the new Khan
And the old Khan.
which for me personally,
Benedict
it's hard to compare those 2 Khans.
It is.
Because both of them were perfect for that
And
part.
Ricardo Montalban.
But, and as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't the new Khan Doctor Strange?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Benedict Cumberbatch.
I thought it was.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
Sherlock.
So there's another one.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm thinking, and I'm like, so I mean, it's kind of hard, but in all honesty, in my opinion, character-wise, the new Khan beats out all 3 of them in writing, character, and everything. Because you actually had a background story. The old Khan, you really didn't have that background story. You just had in-your-face bad guy.
That's not the question, though.
I said which one had the better character. So
I know.
character story goes into that.
I'm with you. But you're asking if it's, Senator
Either
Palpatine or
Palpatine or Khan.
Or Khan.
Between all 4 individuals,
I'm with you.
I think the Star Trek second Khan, with Cumberbatch doing it, was the better Khan.
Okay.
Was the better of all 4 of them.
I mean, you're wrong, but okay, I understand that you think that way, which is fine.
Well, explain your background.
Okay, so here's a situation. The correct answer is the latest Palpatine, and the reason for that is because, and simply just putting it in a one-line kind of situation, he runs the galaxy. All right, none of these other idiots run the galaxy. Okay, so the original, the Palpatine guy, he was easily manipulated, deceived, and thrown over the ledge. All right, Khan was Khan, for lack of a better term. Okay, he thought he had he thought he was smarter than everybody else, and all he did was end up on a planet with a bunch of bombs. So that's kind of how that all worked. So the latest Palpatine, who got the dumbest creature in the Star Wars universe to hand him the power to control the galaxy, that's the man, okay? And I have, when it comes to movies, the bad guy makes and breaks it for me, okay? You cannot have a good movie without a good bad guy. You can have the best good guy you want, the best actor for that. If you don't have a good anti-good guy, it's not going to be a good movie. And I think that's a pretty valid point there. So I know you guys probably have your own opinions, but they're going to be wrong because mine is the absolute correct one. So there you go.
Well, Skeletor, your chance.
All right. So, as a character, and my point of view being the actor that played said character, is where I'm judging from on what I like about the character best. And I have to agree with Rob. I think the Benedict Cumberbatch character of Khan was the my favorite of all of them. It might not have been the best, but it was my favorite. I'm kind of biased. I really enjoyed him as Sherlock, which is what I originally saw him as. And I'm an Anglophile, so I like pretty much all things British. So I've seen him portraying other roles in other shows that are played on BBC and stuff like that, and I enjoy him as an actor more so than the other people that played the other characters, and that's why I have decided to use the new Khan instead. Is because I like the actor that portrayed the character more than I do the others.
Those of you that are watching, if you're going to search the BBC, make sure you put your safe search on before you do that.
Yeah, BBC America.
Yes.
Okay.
So go ahead and search that.
Here is the next one. And this is one that stays in one realm. Episodes 1, 2, or 3, Obi-Wan with Ewan McGregor, or the original Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Man, that's so hard. Holy crap. That's like choosing between your kids.
Personally, I'm Ewan McGregor. Just simply because I feel he embodied that part, and had they used him or used the original more than what they did in the original 3, he might have a leg to stand on. But Ewan McGregor has been there for 3, and looks like we're going to see Ben Kenobi again through either a Ben Kenobi movie or a Ben Kenobi series using Ewan McGregor. So we're able to dive into the character more.
Oh, this is just so hard. Like that is like a hard to what to do.
All right. Well, what?
Oh God, go ahead because I need a moment.
I was about to say while you're pondering this, I'll just go ahead and throw out there that I think I think between the two, I have to go with Ewan, and the reason why is because for one, that is the only thing that I enjoyed out of movies 1 through 3 was his characterization of Obi-Wan Kenobi, because we all know I'm pissed off at Samuel L. Jackson for not saying motherfucker at least once. At least once. I mean, come on, Sam. Come on.
I got it. We got to let that go at some point.
I can't. I cannot.
Let it go, dude. Let it go.
No, hell no.
How many years has it been since he was on a Star Wars movie?
Quite a few. But he had more of a facial presence in movies 1 through 3. He was more of a character and less of a guide. Obi died quickly in the originals.
No, he didn't.
He lived on as a Force ghost.
Well, okay, but
He didn't die. I mean, let's okay. All right, I'm just saying. Let's get this straight. He never died.
okay.
Just
If
like
he was dead, then he would have been a bloody mess on the floor.
Just like technically, Mark Hamill isn't dead, but But I honestly am starting to believe some of the other people that Mark Hamill's been dead before Episode 7.
Oh, when he was able to do that displacement thing?
No, before that, before
Oh.
even 7, before she even found him, that he was not really there. He was a Force ghost even then, but just a full body Force ghost that you couldn't tell the difference. That is a theory out there right now.
I was about to say, I'd love to meet this makeup artist because you can't see through him at all.
That island is strong with a force.
But yeah, my reasoning for that is because of the fact that he was more of a character and less of a guide. So and plus he did an amazing job. I mean, so go ahead, sir.
Well, once again, I have to disagree with the both of you. This is gonna be fun tonight. See already.
Hey.
All right, so
and this coming from the gentleman wearing Darth.
Oh, I know.
Wearing stormtroopers.
It's just because there aren't any good like rebel jackets. It's really the only reason why, which kind of sucks, but that's really true.
It's very true.
So I'm not going. So you guys keep going like the actor out of context, and I keep keeping in the storyline. And for me, a lot about movies has to do with my emotional response to something. So, and the Sir, and I'm sorry I can't remember what his name is, but the original guy that played Obi-Wan. The reason why I like that so much, and I'm sure it's probably a timeline period thing for me, but it was just, the emotion that he brought and also pulled out of me by, coming to Luke and knowing that what he had done in the past, because realistically, the young Anakin, the young Obi-Wan is responsible for Darth Vader.
Yep.
So you guys keep picking these people who are responsible for these incredibly evil, like end of the world kind of things. Where this Ben, he was not only a mentor, showing Luke the way, pretty much responsible for the rebellion actually winning that fight, because without Luke, that wasn't going to be possible. He introduced us to Yoda. It's that emotional response thing that I always get, when he's talking to Luke and, his uncle and Aunt Beru are just burning there, and being able to go and settle him down and be like, we got to go fix this. This is a big problem and you're really the only one that can help. And, it was that father figure kind of thing that I think all boys at that age were like, wow, I wish I had an Obi-Wan in my life.
Yeah, have to go back and fix the crap that you screwed up.
And the funniest part about it is
fix
the
it
actor
for
that
you,
played
because
him.
you'll never be able to fix it yourself. Yeah,
that's right.
I mean, it's the same situation as pretty much any situation of somebody that's a failed father that wants their son taken care of. I mean, and in a sense, that's
his
what
father
Obi-Wan was.
Dead,
Daddy issues.
Obi-Wan was the father issues for Anakin.
So Star Wars is nothing but a movie of daddy issues? Hey,
I mean, the main bad guy's name is the Dark Father.
Almost.
I'm kind of thinking maybe.
I mean, because think about it, somebody else has daddy issues.
But the original old man that played Obi-Wan, finding out later on that he didn't want to do this role. And to see how that came out for someone who didn't even really want that role, to me, is just a phenomenal feat. So, I have to give to the actor on that, because I'm sure Ewan McGregor wanted to be in Star Wars. Because he knew,
because it was the role of a lifetime.
Right, but you're talking about a guy who's a very popular English actor who has, years and years of acting experience, and they asked him to be on this sci-fi movie that no one's ever seen or known about or anything before, in the middle of the desert and low budget and all this other crazy stuff. And it turns out to be this mega hit, but he doesn't know that. So I got to give it up to the guy. It's easy to jump on a series like Samuel does, when it's all popular and he knows he's going to make a bunch of money out of it. But for somebody to kind of step out there, I have to have more respect for that. So
okay, I have one now that's going to probably be easy for all of us.
God, I hope it's easier than that one. Jesus.
Oh, it should be. If this one's not easy for all of us, but I want to hear everybody's reasoning, either Hayden Christensen or
Jesus H.
James Earl Jones.
Are you kidding?
All right, so moving on to the next question.
Right?
No, answer.
Hayden Christensen just sucked. I mean, let's just put it bluntly. He just is. He could not, and it's going back to that emotion thing again. He never made me believe. And that scene in the middle movie, the Attack of the Clones, with him and Princess, Queen Amidala, sorry, are like riding that.
Well, no, at that time she was already
hippopotamus-looking
senator.
thing.
At that time she was
Whatever.
senator.
I don't give a shit. I hate those.
Right?
All
Yeah, fuck
right.
those movies.
But I mean, it's that middle one. So much of that movie just felt like I was watching a Hallmark movie about two star-crossed lovers who are riding around in the field and on this big cow, and it's like, why did and he just didn't. He wasn't evil enough. He wasn't good enough. I didn't get it either way.
Now, time for a quick break from either or.
You doing a Savage commercial?
Right? Do I
No.
know? I want to answer this. I have a great answer for you.
Okay, go ahead, Skeletor. Sorry, I forgot.
Hi, my name is Skeletor.
And I'm part of the show.
and I have an answer to this question. So I said it before, that Obi-Wan was the only character that I liked in the first three movies. That rings true because Hayden Christensen did suck. And, it's funny. As soon as Anthony said star-crossed lovers, the Leonardo DiCaprio version of Romeo and Juliet popped into my head. And this is just like a more futuristic version of that as well. And it made me giggle a bunch. But yeah, just like the question made me giggle a bunch. I mean, there's obviously the choice is Darth. It's not fucking Anakin, because Anakin sucks as. Never mind.
You could have asked me for the little kid Anakin versus Hayden Christensen. I would have picked the little kid.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness! Look at the difference in the mug now. Already.
Oh, it's cooled down. Yeah.
That shows you how much appears after I put something in it.
Thank you for our sponsors, the mug manufacturers. All
right.
The Lakeside Collection. Okay.
And Savage CBD, folks.
Yes, Savage CBD. A great CBD for your life. But
Makers1.com for all of your CBD needs.
And don't forget your 2-in-1 device, the Deep Pods.
Which I haven't sold a one of yet.
Everybody's too scared to pick one up now.
Well, that's true. I finally had my people put a pod and a cartridge on that thing and set it out so people can know it does both. Like, that's the only way people are going to know about it. But they'll move. It just takes a little time to get going. All right. Well,
Skeletor, I've told you, get them to send some to me, and I'll review them and get some publicity.
You didn't answer your own question.
Yeah, answer your question.
Oh, by far, James Earl Jones' rendition of Darth Vader was 10 times better than Hayden Christensen.
That's not really fair, though, because James Earl Jones wasn't in the suit.
True story.
But he gave the emotion.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. It takes more to be a voice actor than it does to take and actually be the actor. Okay, but a quick break before we do any more either-ors. Who here is excited for Disney Plus coming up in just under 60 days now?
Yeah, it's not very long.
I was just actually about to ask what the fuck is Disney Plus, but then I remembered it's like their Netflix thing that they're going to have all the Star Wars.
Yeah, basically what's going to happen is everything that you see on Netflix, Amazon, places like that you actually pay a monthly subscription service for, that you stream with, if it is Disney, once their contract comes up, Disney is canceling the contract and it is moving exclusively over to Disney Plus.
Which makes me a sad panda, by the way.
Why?
Because I have Netflix. How much is this Disney shit? How many streaming services do I need to fucking
$6.
have? Oh, that's it?
$6.99 a month. And the thing
To
is,
start.
Yeah, to start. For the
at
first
$6.99,
24 months.
you're getting 4 screens, where you're paying Netflix. If you get the same thing, it's $16. 4 screens at 4K Ultra HD for $7. And they're guaranteeing that for at least 2 years. I think it's going to stay like that for a longer than 2 years. But here's the thing. When it comes to it, you're going to have all 9 Star Wars actually streamable. Netflix does not have all 9 Star Wars.
You're right, they don't.
You're going to have every single Marvel movie that has came out for the Marvel Cinematic Universe that Disney owns on there. Disney is pulling all the Deadpools and putting them on Hulu. Because you can get Hulu with Disney Plus for just $12 for both. Because Disney owns Hulu. So they're putting anything that's rated R from Fox onto Hulu. You're with them reuniting all the Marvels except for Spider-Man into the Disney platform. I mean, they've brought back the X-Men, they've brought back Fantastic Four, they've brought back all of them under one umbrella when they bought Fox. Because of that, you're going to see every single Marvel movie on Disney Plus. You're going to see The Mandalorian come out. You're going to see they're actually talking about only releasing the Obi-Wan as a show for Disney Plus with Ewan McGregor. There is so much they're going to do with that it's revolutionizing everything when it comes to streaming, in my opinion.
It is, but here's the real issue, okay? Netflix is going to take a huge hit from this, and you know.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. And the reason why I'm sad about this is because of those shows that Netflix has been able to obtain and show, they've been able to build an empire that has allowed them to put out some really fantastic originals. Like, they have done a phenomenal job with that. There's some Netflix originals that are really, really good shows. And I'm concerned that if they take a major hit, that they're not going to be able to do as much of that anymore. And I'm sad about that because I think they've done a good job.
Well, they screwed themselves over with Stranger Things because they've already said one more season and that's it. There's only so much they can do with Stranger Things.
Sure, but I mean, there's other stuff
yeah.
that they've come out with, so it's not just that's not the only thing. But I mean, what's going to be the reason for watching Netflix after that?
Nothing. And I don't care with Netflix. Only thing I like on Netflix right now is The Walking Dead.
Of course.
Yeah, I know it's a big zombie guy for sure.
I mean, right now I'm working on rewatching the whole series. I'm on season 5, I believe, before the new season comes out in October.
I don't know how you get 6 seasons out of zombies. I mean, that just to me is just wow. That's a lot.
You have to sit and watch it. That's the key.
No.
To get to understand how they do it, you have to sit and watch it.
I mean, I just don't like the lore behind it. I mean, I like vampires because there's so much lore and history behind that, you know. And there's the lore behind zombies is just always the same. There's not.
Well, see, here's the thing. It's not just zombies.
I am undead.
It's not just zombies. See, that's where a lot of people misunderstand it. It's life in that. It's more not a zombie show. as it is life during that time period, during that type of crisis.
So apocalyptic survival is what you're talking
How humanity responds. Like, that's how they get all these bad guys, like Negan or the governor or now Alpha and Beta from the Whisperers. That's how they get all these different leaders that are, for lack of a better way to say it, total assholes. Like Alpha putting 8 heads on spikes as a fence, killing 8 people just to make a fence.
Yeah. But you're just talking Chinese to us.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's more what The Walking Dead is. It's not more of just a zombie. It is more the life of living in that type of environment. The way it affects the human psyche. The way losing people that you're close to affects you. Things like that.
Yeah. So it's like a soap opera.
This message brought to you by
Zombies.
PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds with zombies.
No, if you're going to do a game with zombies, you got to do Black Ops. Black Ops zombies are 10 times better than most of the other zombies, especially Black Ops 2. Go Buried. I can't help it, I'm a gamer.
So I don't like the Black Ops zombies, to be quite honest, because it's too dark. Even with my glasses on and the brightness on the TV turned all the way up, I have a hard time seeing them. Now the map on Black Ops 4 9, where it's in the Roman Coliseum, I dig that map. I can fucking see. Everything else is just so dark, and and that runs the gambit for all of Black Ops. You know, from the inception of zombies with what was it, World at War? Even those were
maybe it was World at War.
It was World at War. Even with that, it's just all really really dark.
Black Ops 2 wasn't that dark.
It was to me. I've got
your TV must be set really dark then.
I've got the map pack for Black Ops 3, which has all the maps from all the previous zombies. They're all fucking dark, pretty much. Yeah.
See,
wait a second. Did you just say there's a map pack that has all the old zombies levels?
Yeah, it's for Black Ops 3.
I might have to be looking into that because I loved the Black Ops 2 zombies. Hold on.
Oh, look at him go.
He's got to look it up right in the middle of the show. Can't you make yourself a note and just look at it later?
All of a sudden,
got to right this second.
Yeah, all of a sudden you'll hear the little ding from the PlayStation.
Can you imagine little Rob as a kid at home with his mom, just no patience whatsoever.
Yeah, I might have.
There's a new toy. Mom, we gotta go. We gotta go to the store. Mom.
Mommy.
I might have to be looking into that map pack for Black Ops 3.
Mommy.
Because that map
pack.
Having
to tell his girlfriend we can't play the electric bill because I bought a video game. And
she's just a roommate. She's not even my girlfriend.
Well, I'm saying if you had a girlfriend.
Yeah. But yeah, I might
We're
have
all geeks. We don't have girlfriends. That's not how this works.
Yeah, right? It's not like Revenge of the Nerds. We don't get the girl at the end of the movie. We're not nerds. We're geeks. There's a difference.
Did they have all the cheats still on, the time bomb and everything on the new remastered version?
Cheats? What do you need cheats
I don't know.
It's not even a cheat. It's built in to where you have a time bomb, and if you have stuff deposited and you punch it, it punches all that out. You let the time bomb go. After you've hit the time bomb, you still have all the money that you just put in the bank, but then you pick it up and you can double your money. I have a full bank. That and Die Rise were my two best on Black Ops 2 of zombies.
That's an interesting point that kind of goes back to our original topic. Both of the movies that we're dealing with really don't deal a lot with money.
Yeah.
Like Star Trek, really, is there any reference to money? There's only one that I know about in all of Star Trek that I can think of.
I love that.
Like
Jay
Trek,
is like, wait, I heard Black Ops. What did I miss?
Yeah.
And Princess
Everything.
is like, you missed a lot.
You missed everything.
Well, that's why I always felt like Star Trek was trying to give people an insight to what socialism
could be. Yeah.
You know, it was like instead of worrying about being the person with the most money, it was worrying about how we can move our society along.
Yeah.
Like we didn't care about that. It was more about the exploration and the making people better situation. Not that I'm a socialist. Don't get on here and start sending me a bunch of shit. I'm just saying.
This
from a historical,
yeah, right.
Exactly.
This just in. News.
My Instagram
Anthony
will blow up
Ramella
and
is a
like,
socialist.
Yeah.
Anthony Ramella is a socialist.
Wah, 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 wah.
I'm a nothing. I just want to argue with you. No matter what it is, I'm just going to pick the other side anyway. Well, I kind of had an either or it's not exactly that. But what is your favorite droid or robot, if you will, between the two series?
R2-D2.
Well, maybe I should say it a different way. What's the best droid?
R2-D2.
In the two series. See, that's unfortunately he's wrong again. Damn it. All right, go ahead, Skeletor.
Well, I realized that when I watched.
Hold on. We got to go back to Robert. You got to defend that.
In all honesty, R2-D2 kicks ass and takes names. You don't.
All right, whose ass is he kicked?
Whose is kicked? Okay, let's go back to episode 2. Or no, episode 1. Oh, no, yeah, episode 2. Episode 2. When he's fighting the droids. So maybe it was episode 1. When he's fighting the droids using his turbos.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you see C-3PO doing? Bang, 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 bang,
I
bang.
didn't say C-3. When did I say C-3PO?
I know, but...
No one in the world will pick C-3PO.
Where do you see BB-8 going after people like that?
I'm with you.
I mean, in all honesty, the only one that would come even close to me, to R2-D2, is the one from Solo. That's the only one that would even come
L7.
Close.
And
L7.
That's what I was actually about to say. I realized that when I watched Solo this afternoon, we were wrong. Her name is not L7. It's L3.
Is it L3?
L3, yeah.
Is that right? Wow. Thank you, Skeletor, for fixing that for us.
Because it was funny. I was kind of dozing off right when L3 was introduced, and I heard Lando say L3, and I sat up. I'm like, say that shit again. The fuck you just say, Lando? Say that shit again. And it was L3.
What's the name of the one in Rogue One?
I have support in the chat, so I am right. Jay says
you're
R2-D2.
Totally wrong, because they're not all thinking. They haven't got all the information.
And Vape Princess, I agree. C-3PO got gayer as Star Wars progressed.
Well, of course.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right. But
my mangina is very warm.
Yeah. As much as I like Data from Next Generation, he was a great droid, lifelike. The guy that played him, what was his name? Brent something or other. I don't quite remember.
Brent Spinner.
That's it. He was he did a great job playing that character. But when it comes to when it comes to what I enjoy seeing out of a movie, L3 was just absolutely out of this world when it came to just that sarcastic, dry, what the fuck did you just say comedy. When her and Kira are sitting in the cockpit of the Falcon, and she's like, Han's in love with you. I know I have the same thing going on with Lando.
Now,
What?
I will tell you, after watching the trailers, my choice may be changed when Mandalorian comes out.
Fair enough.
Because this new droid that they are showing on Mandalorian looks kick ass. Have you seen it? Have you seen the trailer?
I've seen the trailer. I was trying to think of the droid.
There's a droid that has guns pointed out to both sides and is literally spinning 360, shooting guns at the same time.
Humans can do that too.
Yeah, but we're talking about droids right now, so So
we can't do that with our feet stationary without moving them.
So you got an R2D2, you got a L3. When Skeletor kind of threw my pick out there, it's got to be Data. I mean, Data is the best, and the problem with it is, and I'm not a huge Star Trek guy. I mean, it's obvious I'm a big Star Wars guy, but when you look at the whole package there, Data could probably take down any of those other droids. Mm-hmm. Realistically, probably could.
Not if he got shocked.
We saw what happened to R2 when he got shocked.
Yeah, right.
Because if R2D2 wanted to, he could shock Data and short his circuits.
I don't know.
Think about it. R2D2
I understand what you're trying to say.
He has defenses.
Yeah, that's true. As long as as long as Data couldn't sneak up behind him.
Exactly.
Or pick him up and throw him.
If he picked him up, still think about it. They picked up R2D2 and R2D2 put oil on the ground.
You have way too much.
And hit those thrusters.
No.
R2D2 dumped oil on the ground, hit those thrusters, and lifted off after lighting that oil.
Luck.
Would Data annihilate all the Star Wars droids? For certain. I remember a few episodes where Data has actually had his circuits electrocuted, and he was still able to kick ass and take names. But the only thing
it's his ability to learn.
Exactly.
And his ability to be able to,
he's got cognitive learning ability.
Yeah. Yeah. He would be able to play chess and things like that the other droids just, maybe physically, but not, actually. It's Data. It just is.
Okay. Here's another good one. Star Wars chess or Star Trek chess?
You keep making me go back to Star Trek. God damn it. Star Trek chess. It's more fun. The other
I like Star Wars chess. The holograms. Yeah. The only thing is, I'm never playing a Wookiee. Because I can't let a Wookiee win. Scuba.
For that.
That's a good one, Scuba. We have to ban Star Wars because it has different flavors or lightsabers. Or sabers. Hey, Scuba, if you want to hop in here, you're more than welcome. Just let me know and I'll send you a... Because I know Scuba, he's also a geek. He actually has R2-D2 behind him whenever he streams. So if you want to hop in here, let me know and I'll send you a link.
Oh, yeah. More the merrier.
You're welcome anytime for any show, but especially Geek Out, because I know you're a geek, because you have R2-D2 in the back.
Okay, Skeletor, this one I'm sure that you'll have something to weigh in on. Hottest female character. The top of the bunch. This is the one that I find to be the most attractive, like the woman that I would want.
Slave Leia.
Slave Leia, okay. But she's not always a slave, so you got to deal with all the other shit that goes along with Leia that goes along with that too.
Gosh.
But your name's not Skeletor, so.
I know, but I had to say because.
Wow. Jeez.
This is a woman you want to marry, live the rest of your life with.
I don't know if I can answer that question.
But yeah,
Why,
mine would
trouble?
be, mine
No,
would be
not
torn
at
between-
all. I know which one I think is definitely the hottest out of the bunch. But if I had to,
hotness and personality, there's some give and take there.
yeah, exactly. And you throw that fucking 4-letter word of marriage out there, and it's like, dude, I'm a geek. Fuck that word.
Yeah, but I mean,
I've already lost.
If you're marrying this character, they live in that universe, so they're kind of a geek too. It's the character, not the actress.
Right. I would probably have to say Ray.
That's a good choice.
Of course, though, here's the thing. It would be tough between the Slave Leia and the green one that you catch Kirk with in the original or the new Star Trek.
New Star Wars,
Yeah.
Right. Uhura's roommate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may have seen her on another show and you don't even realize it. You ever watch Compendium?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's
Never
got red
even
hair
heard
in real
of it.
life. Yeah.
Ooh, a redhead.
Yeah. She's actually a pretty decent actress on her own, but yeah, that was the first place I ever saw her.
But Slave Leia is my first pick, no matter what.
I think, obviously Rey is extremely good looking, well, at least to me. But the fact that her character is like on the border between light and dark, and she has tendencies for both. I think that's a little more what I dig, is she's able to probably be as, what's the word, maniacal as me. even more so because she's a Jedi.
So you like a female Luke. All right, good.
Of course, though, you got to remember, too, there's a third one for me.
Holy crap. How many do you get?
He's having an orgy over here, folks.
I said the top one, not the top five.
It's hard
He's
to do
moving.
the top
He's
one.
saying, "Fuck it, I'm moving."
He keeps thinking of new ones, like,
because
maybe
here's
that
the thing.
instead.
He says, "Fuck it, I'm moving
Slave
to Utah."
Leia would be the first choice because of her personality. Second would
that's
be
the reason I wouldn't choose her.
Would be the green one off of the original Star Trek, or his roommate. Third, I have to say, Padme.
Oh, okay. All right. Not my type of chick at all. Not even a little
And
bit.
yeah, Baked Princess, yeah, it's a harem. I'd have those three in a harem for me.
I'd
gladly have those three in a harem.
He's moving to the Utah planet.
Exactly, planet Utah. But I can actually see Ray getting some ink. And
Big
shit
love
like
over
that.
there.
Yeah, right.
Of course, though, you
I
got to
forgot
remember,
about that show.
I'm of that generation too, Anthony, that I've always had a thing for the girl that played.
That was Natalie Portman.
Yeah,
right?
I've always had a thing for Natalie Portman too. So I have two or three women that I will watch any movie they're in. Natalie Portman.
Have you seen her Lonely Island videos?
Mm-mm.
Probably. Natalie Portman,
You have to see those.
Reese Witherspoon, and sometimes Anne Hathaway. Those three are my girls. So
what he wants to do is take a good girl and do something bad to her.
Yeah.
That's a list of 3 like girl next door actresses for sure.
I know, and
sure.
Whereas I would start off with Scarlett Johansson, Mia Jovovich. Wow, that's
and then Emma
you saw
Watson
it here,
is in
folks.
a close fourth, by the way. Emma Watson is in a very close fourth.
Oh my God! Talk about So Rob wants to be on a Hallmark movie.
Right?
That's what the deal is.
Or
Like-
a lifetime movie.
Yeah.
Of course,
There's
I didn't mention
the
my
Pride
fifth.
and Prejudice cast.
I didn't mention my fifth girl,
Okay, well, you might as well.
Here's
You've
another one,
already hit
yeah,
all the other
right?
ones.
Candace Cameron.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my God! Really?
I grew up with Full House. You gotta remember
That's the whole reason
that.
I couldn't, because that's all I would ever see is that little girl.
Exactly.
I'm like, I can't do that.
Exactly.
No interest
And
in that
you
whatsoever.
can't go after Aunt Becky because she's serving prison time now for that fucking
Well,
college
Candace
scandal.
Cameron is married,
It still
Well,
doesn't
yeah.
matter.
and I
It
sure as
still
heck
doesn't
wouldn't
matter.
go after her best friend Kimmy. Now Stephanie, on the other hand, that'd be one I'd consider.
She became a wild child anyway. She liked her meth.
Not anymore. She's gotten off of that.
Yeah, she's a good Christian girl now, which is definitely not my type.
And you got to
Yeah.
remember too, who else did I grow up watching? Punky Brewster.
Soleil Moon Frye.
And I love that girl too, but you don't see her that often anymore. Of course,
No,
though,
she's
Tiffany
hot
Amber
now.
Thiessen is another
Yeah,
big
I know.
one for me.
Or at least you're going more bad girl with that. one,
Exactly.
You know? At least,
No,
yeah.
because guess what I watch? What I think of her every time I see her. Guess what I think?
Saved by the Bell, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so we now know that Rob has a Lolita fetish. Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah, he wants to corrupt your daughters. So watch
that's
out.
right.
But
All right, so I'm going to say
I
mine,
grew up
which
with Saved by the Bell, so
you would think that I would pick somebody from Star Wars, but that's not going to be the case again. Counselor Troy. It's mine.
Ooh, you know what? Her face did pop into
You
my head.
forgot,
And I
didn't
was thinking, no, I didn't forget.
Oh, okay.
I didn't forget.
Now, here's the thing. Counselor Troy is not the most beautiful woman. She's still very, very attractive,
Hmm.
but she's intelligent. And that, to me,
Exactly.
a lot of times, I want to be able to have a conversation with
Right.
somebody that I'm with and somebody that I could do that for long term. And maybe that's just because I'm older and I feel that way now. But, yeah, Counselor Troy would definitely be my first choice.
But I
And
will
that's
tell-
exactly
But I will
why
tell you,
she
I was
would
happy as a
pop into
lark
my
when
head.
I heard who the new Catwoman was going to be, and that she was going to be in leather. I have to
I
say,
forgot.
Who's the new Catwoman going to be?
it was
I
Anne
heard,
Hathaway.
but I forgot. Yeah, Anne Hathaway.
Oh, okay.
When
I
I
thought you
heard
meant
it was
there
going to
was
be
a
Anne
new-
Hathaway, I was like, yay!
Yeah. No,
Oh,
Anne
so-
Hathaway's really hot. So
She's gonna play. She's finally gonna play a Batgirl role.
No, she already did.
Which one did
Yeah.
what'd she play before?
She was
She played
Catwoman.
Catwoman in the Christopher Nolan series of Batman.
So I'm hoping they bring
With
her
Bane
back.
and all that.
That's right. I forgot. It's
Yeah,
been
she
a
did a good
while
job
since
with
I've
it.
seen that.
Yeah, no, she did
Yeah.
a really good job. Of
course, though.
I was.
Even though it's not Star Wars or Star Trek, I have to give it to her. She is in a very close second for best Catwoman.
Ooh. Okay. Well, let's see what your thoughts are on this. 'Cause I'm
Michelle
interested.
Pfeiffer in number one.
Okay. Good. I was hoping you weren't going the other way.
But then Anne Hathaway is in a very close second.
He thought you
Yeah.
were gonna say Halle Berry.
Halle Berry
I
can
surely
kiss
did.
my ass because she was the worst Catwoman we ever had,
But the only one to get her own movie, which is just nuts. So
which makes no
Well-
sense.
Well,
Yeah.
that's because she showed her titties in Swordfish.
Man, you were making me almost spit out coffee every time.
My job here is done almost.
You were finding the best
Yeah.
times to say something like that.
But if you haven't seen the Lonely Island videos with Natalie Portman, you definitely should. They are some of the most hilarious things I've ever seen. She does like a gangster rap, and it's one of the most hilarious. And I'm telling you, it's vulgar as hell. It's that is it Andy Samberg? Is that how you say his name? Anyway, they do these Lonely Island videos that are really funny, but they got her to do one, and she dives deep into it, and it's fantastic. It is. But definitely not my kind of woman.
Okay, do you have another either or?
Oh no, he has to answer his
Oh,
women,
yeah.
or did he already? Yeah, you have to answer.
No,
your
yeah,
women.
Counselor Troy is
Yeah,
mine.
that's what he
Oh,
answered.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Well, let's see,
Pothead.
Skeletor. You got one? You got an either or?
Well. No, but I do have a just a question in general.
Fair enough.
is who is your favorite evil villain? Because there are plenty to go around in
There are
the Star
plenty to go
Trek,
around.
and there are plenty to go around in the Star Wars too.
Are we just doing Star Wars and Star Trek, or?
Yes, just Star Wars and Star Trek.
Personally, I know this isn't going to fly with a lot of you, but what?
You don't have to say that anymore. We already know
We
that that's
already
always
know,
going to
yeah.
be the case. All right?
But I loved Count Dooku. I really did. I loved that character.
But do you really consider Dooku to be a bad guy?
Yeah,
That's kind of the other.
he was a
situation
Sith.
there. Sure.
So, I mean, you have to consider him a bad guy because he was a Sith.
Fair enough.
But then that brings up the question, was the Sith really a bad group?
And there you go. Or was the Sith the start of the rebellion?
Boom.
Yeah. I know. It's, it's true from a certain point of view.
History is written by the winners.
That's very true too.
So, Anthony, what's yours?
Mine is going to be a strange one, unfortunately.
What isn't strange with you?
That's very true. Well, I would say my favorite bad guy, and this is so crazy, but Q from Star Trek.
Okay.
You know who that is?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I mean, he's a god for all intents and purposes, and could change things at the snap of a finger. And to me, power is something that I, respect. He could end the Jedi in a moment. He could reduce them to toads. He could do whatever he wants to. It's kind of like why the Dark Phoenix is kind of like my favorite, as far as, the Marvel universe. It's because her power is just so overwhelming. People talk all the time like, oh, she's not that powerful. I'm like, she can break things down to matter.
Exactly.
I really don't give a shit what you think. The strongest character cannot. And, I know, Rob, you think that, Wolverine is some major thing, and that's all just a big joke to me in that movie because she could have just went and done. Thanks for playing.
Exactly what she did to Professor X and to Cyclops.
But
so Q is my
that
answer,
is no longer canon.
My favorite one to watch, and I can't think of his name, is the redheaded guy from the First Order, because he feels like he's got some kind of generational or some hereditary connection to Hitler. I am the First Order. He's just screaming and yelling the whole time, and he's just red faced and red haired. And
but Anthony, we do have to remember the Dark Phoenix you're talking about is no longer canon.
It's no longer canon
for Marvel. It is no longer considered part of the timeline.
True. No, I understand.
So I mean, the Dark Phoenix you're talking about isn't even existing because Jean Grey no longer exists. Sorry, spoiler alert. Jean Grey no longer exists on Earth.
Yeah, but the comic book realm can always be changed still.
No, I mean this is talking movie realm.
Right, I understand that.
In the new Dark Phoenix movie, the Phoenix has went into the space. She completely disintegrated herself and went into space.
Yeah, but what do we know about Phoenixes?
Rebirth.
Don't you count my girl out.
But yeah, she merged herself with the Phoenix and is in space now.
All right, so I told my favorite bad guy, so Skeletor, you're up.
Gosh, I thought I had one chosen, and then you went off and said Q, and it just, it just brought back a whole right in the. Because you're right. I mean, he was able to manipulate the Enterprise computers and go onto the holodeck and make everybody think that they were actually in real life and shit. It's like
that's power.
Indeed, and but Gosh, it's a difficult question for me to answer. I've always dug on Darth. I've always dug on the Borgs. I've always dug on, Khan. Um,
The Borg is a good choice.
yeah.
The Borg is a very good choice.
And that was going to be the original choice of mine was the Borg. And then, like I said, you said Q, and it was like, fuck my life.
Because Q could take out the Borg, so it's just
exactly. But
I know.
Since you said Q, I am going to say the Borg. I mean, well, that plus they felt compelled to make an entire movie about them as well. And, when they introduced them on Next Generation, I thought it was absolutely amazing. And it was really cool because, it's like the hive mentality,
God damn it! And you're going to make me go back on one of my other answers because I kind of like to see what it would like to live with 7 and 9.
Okay, here's another either or.
I got another one too, but go ahead.
Either Darth Vader's TIE Fighter or the Millennium Falcon.
Darth Vader didn't have a TIE fighter.
Well, whatever his fighter was. I thought his was still a TIE Fighter, but okay.
It looked like the 3-pointed thing.
Yeah, but remember when he was
had a regular
Luke?
TIE Fighter too that he flew.
Remember when he was chasing Luke and the three of them went together down the
he was in a TIE Fighter.
The TIE Fighter with the curved wings instead of the straight wings.
I thought he had the 3-pronged ship when he was.
He had that one for going ship to ship, but when he needed to go out and fight, he fought in a TIE Fighter. So the Millennium Falcon or Darth Vader's TIE Fighter.
Is that can we move on to the next question?
No, that's the question.
That's such an easy one.
No, it's not really.
Oh,
it is for me.
Is.
Because here's the thing.
You'll know why when I answer.
Depends on who's behind the wheel.
No.
Because if Darth Vader is behind the wheel of the TIE Fighter, he has the Force. Yes, the Millennium Falcon has L3.
I was about to say, but he doesn't have L3.
But he has the Force. He was considered the best pilot.
He has the Force, yeah, but his TIE Fighter doesn't.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does. You asked
us if
it's the TIE Fighter.
It depends on who's behind the wheel. I said that phrase. It depends on who's behind the wheel. Because if he is behind the stick of that TIE Fighter, he can come up with moves faster than L3 inside the Millennium Falcon. L3 doesn't learn that kind of stuff. Like, for instance, if he would have been flying right behind the Millennium Falcon when they went in to destroy the Death Star, when they went inside the Death Star, he could have stayed on the ass of that Millennium Falcon because he would have known where to make turns and how to make those better than L3 would have known how to make it in the Millennium Falcon. Because he had the Force.
But it still wasn't the fastest ship in the galaxy.
Well, here's the 2 points, okay? Number one, it's the Millennium Falcon. I'm sorry, Rob, that you keep being wrong all night, but that's just kind of the way it's
But I'm able to defend my position.
There's 2 reasons why. Number one, which ship still exists?
But it's a piece of junk. It's always been a piece of junk.
It's not a piece of junk. You say it one more time, I'm getting off here. All right, and number 2, all right, all you have to do is get a little bit farther away from the base, and the TIE Fighter is worthless.
True.
It's a short-range fighter. So between the 2 of them, yeah, and the Millennium Falcon took out that ship. No matter how much force you got, you can't see behind you. It's not really a good thing. So I'm sorry to say, the Millennium Falcon's better.
I disagree, but we'll agree to disagree there.
That's fine. Well, you can stay close to the base, and I'm going to fly out wherever I want to go.
That's right. We're gonna make the Kessel Run.
It's like standing at the end of the rope
going
going,
to make it.
Come
L3
on, baby.
is going to
Come
make
on.
it. You're not going to make that. L3 is going to make it, not you.
And you know what? If I'm along for the ride, that's just fine by me because I'm still going.
Okay, here's a good one.
Hold on, I have one.
No, this goes along the same realms.
All right, fair enough. Go ahead.
Who's the better pilot? Darth Vader
No, that's
or Han
mine.
Solo?
That son of a bitch.
That was yours, wasn't it?
Well, it's who's the better pilot, but it's not those two.
Okay, well, who's the better pilot? Darth Vader or Han Solo?
That's difficult as fuck.
It's Darth Vader is the better pilot.
Yeah,
because he doesn't need fucking L3. Han Solo sucks until he gets L3.
Well, I'm not going to say that. Han Solo doesn't suck. What is wrong with it? Are you working for the First Order? Like, what the hell's going on tonight?
He is.
Well, I'm sitting in the Millennium Falcon, so.
Well, here's the thing. There's no human that can pod race. They made that abundantly clear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason that Anakin could was because of the midichlorians. So in that scenario, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with Anakin.
Well, Darth Vader.
It's Darth Vader's his stage name. His real name's Anakin Skywalker. Right? Don't get it twisted.
Okay, which two pilots were you going to say? Oh no, do you agree or disagree, Skeletor? With who and with who?
I actually agree. I think Darth Anakin is definitely the better pilot.
Darth Anakin.
Yeah, Anakin Vader.
Okay.
Yo, my name is D.A. I'm the Darth Anakin.
Okay, right, Darth Ramella, who is...
Okay, so I was doing pilots. Who do you think's the best pilot in the Resistance? Poe or Han Solo?
Good question.
Poe. Again, Poe doesn't need L3. Solo does.
Listen, okay? L3 didn't become even a thing that we even knew about. And if L3 was that good, she could have kept that ship together better. Right? I'd like to go to light speed when I push the button, not when I bang the fucking thing to get it to go, all right? He flew that hunk of junk, as you called it, with precision.
Yeah, and you're right. We didn't know about L3 until Solo came around.
And all L3 is doing navigation.
Exactly.
L3 is like saying you're a better driver because you have MapQuest.
Because you have GPS, yeah.
Right. Google Maps does not make you a better driver.
Okay.
Just tells you where
Here's
to go.
The thing. Before Han Solo had L3 inside the Millennium Falcon, he could not make 90% of the moves that he made once he had L3 in his system. He could not do vertical. You never once saw him turn the Millennium Falcon vertical and not hit something. Once the Millennium Falcon had L3, the Millennium Falcon became a precision weapon and a precision ship. So therefore, who really was piloting the Millennium Falcon?
Chewie.
Lando.
L3 or Han Solo / Chewie / Lando. Because here's the thing. It wasn't just Lando that turned the Millennium Falcon vertical. Because the Millennium Falcon was also turned vertical when they went onto the meteor hiding from the Empire and went down in the stomach of that worm. When they came out that mouth and it went between the teeth, it went vertical. So who was really piloting that?
I hate to give more ammo to Robert on this subject, but I'm just sitting here thinking, like, how easy was it for Rey and I can't think of his name. Who's the black dude?
Finn.
Finn, yeah.
Finn, yeah. How easy it was for Rey and Finn to get away when she uncovered the Millennium Falcon.
Exactly.
And took off and flew through.
I mean, who was really piloting it? I really think that whole time we never knew it was L3.
Hey, I always go with logic, and I understand. It's like that it was painful for me to see her dragging the Millennium Falcon across the desert floor, but they both kind of cheered like, I don't know how we got out of that kind of situation. Like, I've never flown before something of this size or anything like that, and they were able to get away. So, yeah.
Now, see, had it happened, had you asked me that same question before Solo came out, I would have by far said Han Solo.
Yeah.
But when you really think about it,
yeah, no, I'm with you.
I mean, nothing really happened with that Millennium Falcon.
The only thing with Poe is he only drives one thing, and it's very tiny.
Yeah.
So it allows you to have a lot more maneuverability. I mean, it's kind of like the difference between, somebody driving like a crotch rocket
and a Cadillac.
And somebody, and a 1960 fucking Cadillac getting through the same opening. I mean, it does take some skill to whip that caddy around. But, I don't know. I'd like to put them head to head and see, but
without L3's involvement.
That's fine. Yeah.
And I think they'd crash the Millennium Falcon. I really do.
Okay, so since we've been talking a lot of bad guys tonight, why don't we do this one? First Order or the Empire?
Empire. It was more feared than the First Order.
All right, Skeletor.
I'd have to go Empire as well because, that's where I get the whole emotion, endless Star Wars type, thing that you always talk about, how did it affect you emotionally? And I got more of the bad guy vibe from the Empire than I did the First Order. At least to me, I'm going OG on that one.
God, I wish you guys would stop getting these wrong. It'd be nice if you get like just one right. It'd be cool.
I did.
Yeah, we got it right. You're the one getting all of them wrong.
Okay, First Order, and here's the reason. All right, you really never see. I mean, yes, the Empire does. Like you see them destroy a planet, and I get that. Okay, but the First Order, I mean, the very first scene you see is them basically. I don't want to reference anything with this, but they're just killing random people on the planet's surface just because. I mean, and it's not like when you blow up a planet and you're far away, you don't have to look somebody in the eye. I mean, these stormtroopers are literally like, what do we do to the townspeople? Well, just fucking shoot them all. Now, what does that sound like?
Well, see, here's the thing,
They had a big
though.
mass grave. Would that have helped the situation of you guys knowing who was more evil than the other one?
No, because here's the thing.
Maybe.
Another reason I say Empire is because it wasn't just the Empire. With the Empire, you didn't have the chance of a Finn situation. You had all the clones that were programmed to do exactly as the Empire said. No ifs, ands, or buts. Had no reservations doing anything. And had no mindset to do anything else. So therefore, I mean...
Yeah, I mean, you had an army of brainless people. I get that. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with First Order.
And Vaping Nut Job, we are talking about that kind of stuff Tuesday night. Tonight is a laid-back night. We're not really talking news tonight because
we've been doing it for the last
Skeletor,
week and a half,
Anthony, and I have been doing that since Wednesday. I've had
since the Wednesday before last.
Yeah,
with Michigan.
I mean, I had 5 shows last week, 4 of which were news. I had 1 Saturday that was news. I have 1 Tuesday that's news. So I'm not touching on anything like that tonight or tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is strictly about DIY. Tuesday night we will be doing vaping and politics.
And no offense either. We've just talked about it so we're blue in the face. I've lost count of how many shows I've been on in the last week.
We're worn out.
It's like a dozen. Yeah, I mean, I can't do anymore.
This is our Sabbath.
Yeah,
this is our Sabbath.
I mean, it's no offense. I totally understand. There's that kind of stuff going on everywhere, but eventually you have to take at least one day off. You really do. Because otherwise, I mean, I'm just so mad and ragey that it's just my ears are starting to bleed. Like I'm just.
Yeah.
So no offense, man. I mean, realistically, if you want more information about stuff, just any other show that's on right now is probably talking about that. So no offense. We will get into it again, but yeah, I need a break. Yeah, this is a nice break from all of that.
Yeah, that's what this show is. That's why it's called Geek Out.
Yeah.
I let you guys know from the beginning, we're not talking about vaping.
That's right.
It is all about geeking out.
So, who is your favorite Star Trek? We'll say captain. That works. Your favorite Star Trek captain?
New Kirk.
We'll defend your answer.
Because he was badass.
Why is he better than anyone else?
In my personal opinion, the Kirk gut is one of the best gut feelings. And Kirk was by far one of the best captains. I hated, I love to death the actor, but I hated Picard. I hated pretty much every other Star Trek other than the original. And I've always loved Kirk, but especially Chris Pine's version was amazing. He had that rebellious attitude. He wasn't one of these bend over and take it up the ass type of captains. A lot of the other captains kind of seemed like that's how they would do it. Chris Pine was like, no, I'm taking it how I see it happening.
I thought for sure you were going to say Scott Bakula. So.
Well, Scott Bakula, I do like.
Kidding.
No,
100% kidding.
I like Scott Bakula too, but I don't like him as Star Trek.
Let's quantum leap him off that show.
Exactly.
Because I can't watch him and not think Quantum Leap.
Right. No, I know. I always think Necessary Roughness, but
yeah, right.
I don't know why, but I always do. That's like my favorite movie of his.
So, who do you guys think?
All right, Skeletor, you're up.
Okay, so it's this is a very difficult decision for me. So I will answer this in two parts. I like Picard because that is the Star Trek that I grew up watching. With Picard and Number One and Data and Geordi and Counselor Troy and you got Doctor what the fuck was Beverly's last name? Because Picard always because Picard always called her Beverly, and that's what
Dr. Beverly.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I always, was watching when I was growing up, and it was always on TV when I got home from school, so it was always on TV.
Crusher.
But
yeah, they just said it, Crusher.
I do. Wait, that's what Anthony just said a couple seconds ago, but we're good. But I agree with Robert with Christopher Pine's Captain Kirk, because you get to see the rebellious side that you always heard about.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we got into the Star Trek movies themselves, the characters were already older. They were basing the movies themselves off of the TV show. And let's face it, the TV show was corny until the reruns. But it never really showed the rebellious side of Kirk. And it never showed really, like Robert had said, I'll agree with him again on his gut feeling. I don't know why I'm agreeing with Robert so much tonight.
Because I'm right. That's why.
This is an absolute rarity. But that's where my toss-up is between the new Kirk and Picard. and I really can't choose between the two, to be quite honest.
Fair enough. It's a tough choice. It
Mhm.
really is.
So who's yours, Anthony?
Captain Sisko, Deep Space Nine.
See,
Avery Brooks is
I
a
never
bad
watched.
mother. Shut your mouth.
I never watched any of the Star Trek shows.
To me, it was one of my
after.
favorite ones. I love the whole demographic of that. I love the because it got you were able to see all kinds of different characters that would come to the station and the things they had to deal with. I love the Quark character, which is kind of like the bartender guy who was always kind of like doing a little evil something on the side. And I think the reason why I liked it is because it reminded me more of like Star Wars than it did the actual Star Trek universe,
going
really
into
bad.
a cantina and shit.
But I used to watch this show back in the day called Spencer for Hire, and Avery Brooks played this character on there called Hawk, and he was just a badass guy. Yeah, and so when he came on and to be captain on Star Trek, I was like, well, he's going to bring some like Shaft kind of feel to this thing, and it would be pretty cool. So for me, I mean, I'm a huge Picard fan, and I'm kind of with you on that. I always really liked the way he ran his ship, and he always had the wisdom, but he always used all of his people in the best way possible, and all those kind of things. So from an intellectual level, I have to go Picard, but if I'm going all over, it's got to be Captain Sisko, because he was not only smart, but he was like that tough guy and that no nonsense kind of thing, and so I like that.
I have to admit, though, one thing that really showed the rebellious side of Kirk, and I think this is more why I love it, is his bucking the system with Spock's test.
Yes.
I mean, because you always heard about it.
Right.
In the original series. You heard about it all the time. About that test. Yeah. But you never fully understood.
The Kobayashi Maru.
Yeah, what actually happened.
Yeah.
Until you saw.
Right. And why is it all of us geeks love that stuff? We want to see the actual, like, where that reference came from, just like with the Solo thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How many of those things in that movie were just references that needed to be explained out? Uh-huh. How did Chewie and him meet? What happened? How did he get the Millennium Falcon? How was the gambling thing? Because he was like, won it fair and square kind of deal and all this. And you wanted to know that story. You wanted to see what happened there. So that was really awesome.
Now, do you think they're going to do a second Solo?
Not until they do some of the other ones, I don't think. I don't know. I don't know. I hope that they do, because I love that story.
I mean, I'm scared of something, I will be honest. I'm scared they're going to try to do something, and if they try to do it, they're going to screw up the whole Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
And that's the way they're going, redoing episodes 4, 5, and 6, and 1, 2, and 3.
They can do that. They can redo 1, 2, and 3 all they want to. I'm game. If they can make it better, that's fine. But don't fuck with my 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, you can't do that. You just I don't.
But can't you see that being a possibility that Disney might get it in their head? Hey, we're going to continue this on. As much as people have been doing reboots, and that they might go in there and try to do a reboot.
I think Disney's smart enough not to do that. At least I would hope that they're smart enough not to do that. But okay, so think about this. All right, riddle me this, Batman. This would actually be something that they would be able to do now that they're coming out with what's called Disney Plus. You said?
Yes.
Okay, so we see how they have on Netflix, how they had the Marvel Universe going through, they had all the TV shows. Mm-hmm. So what would you think if Disney decided to put together these side stories that you've been wanting to see so bad, Robert? Because I know I've said, what are they going to do after, episode 9? And you're like, well, they got this backstory and this backstory and this backstory. I'd like to see Disney do something like Netflix is doing, where they had, the limited series where it's got backstories, but it takes like 4, TV episodes. You know, it'll take you 4 hours to get through it, but it's 4 chopped up episodes of this backstory and that.
Well, that's
backstory.
kind of what they're doing with the Mandalorian. Kind of what they're doing with the Obi-Wan Kenobi story. Because I just found out recently they're probably not doing it in a full-blown movie. It's going to be a Disney Plus exclusive release, which that's
so they are going to do that. Okay.
Yeah, and what they're doing a lot is when it comes to Disney Plus, they are going to be 90% of their movies. If they do not really have it, probably if they don't have a chance of making it anywhere for like the Oscars or anything like that, just releasing it on Disney Plus, not going to the theaters. Because, like, for instance, how many times do you ever see a Christmas movie when it comes out get nominated for an Oscar?
Only if it's Die Hard.
Well, Disney has Noel coming out.
The hell is that?
It's with I'm trying to remember the guy's name, but you remember Anna Kendrick from Sparkly Vampire? One of her friends.
I have no idea what that even is. Never even heard of Sparkly Vampire.
He's talking about Twilight.
Twilight.
Oh, okay.
Because we always talk about Sparkly Batman.
You talking about Kristen Stewart? She's doing
No,
something.
no. Anna Kendrick.
Oh, okay.
She's in that. She's one of the characters. She was
Okay.
also in Pitch Perfect. That's what she's
Oh,
mainly
okay. I
known
know that. That told me who it was.
Okay.
Okay, I know exactly. What
She is in a
she's-
movie that she is Santa's sister. That Santa retired, turned it over
God.
to his son,
Hope he does as well as Fred Claus.
and he doesn't want to do it, so she does it. And her name is Noelle. And then the live action Lady and the Tramp is coming out exclusively on Disney Plus.
How old are you? I mean, I know we're geeks and all, but that's pushing the level for me just a little bit.
Hey,
Are they going to redo Kit Kittredge, the Kid Detective? Like,
I wouldn't doubt. I mean, honestly, I haven't had a chance to see it because I didn't get to see it in the theaters. But the second The Lion King comes out, I'm buying it. Because that was a movie of my generation. You got to remember, the first movie I remember seeing in the theaters, Disney-wise, was Oliver and Company.
Right.
So, I mean,
I
if they did a live action of Oliver and Company, I'd be at the theaters watching it.
Okay.
The live action of The Little Mermaid, I want to see. I was one of the first here local to buy the live action of Beauty and the Beast.
They made a live action Little Mermaid. It's called Splash.
No, there's a live action Little Mermaid coming out here soon. They're redoing all
wasn't that
their.
Daryl Hannah?
Yes, it was. Daryl Hannah and Tom Hanks.
But yeah, they're redoing after the popularity of Jungle Book when it came out as live action. They've just started pumping out all their old ones as live actions.
They actually called that Mowgli.
No, it's called the Jungle Book.
I have it on Vudu. It's called Mowgli.
There was a bunch of them that came out all at the same time.
No,
Yeah.
I have the Jungle Book
Both those
live
movies.
action.
Yeah, no, there are quite a few of them. 'Cause it's got the
They're-
big orangutan in it.
Oh my God, really? It's got Clyde
Yeah.
in it for real?
Yeah, like a big, but they've got him CGI'd so he looks real.
Right turn, Clyde.
So going back to what you were talking about earlier, Skeletor, I think you're looking for Netflix or this Disney Channel to do like a true Hollywood story, Star Wars style, like individual characters, because they'd be short runs.
Yeah. I would like to see it to where they do that. Like I'm hard pressed to think of an actual Netflix short run that went one series. The one about the Central Park Five, whatever, I can't remember, but that was only a certain amount of episodes.
Oh yeah. Oh, son of a bitch! I can't believe I can't remember the name of it. I've been watching a lot of Hip Hop Evolution, so it's like
Yeah.
right along those same scenario. But yeah, I actually really like that series that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That was really good because it
Yeah,
talked
it was.
about Brooklyn and all of that, and it was good. Yeah. Plus, there's a Star Wars element in that too, so that kind of helps as well. Yeah. So I have another either or for you guys. This
Okay.
should be a pretty good one. Do you like puppet Yoda or CGI Yoda?
Puppet.
You have to defend your. You made the rules up for this. Defend your answer.
It was the best. I mean, honestly, CGI
But why?
Yoda
I
looked,
mean, you have to have a reason.
CGI Yoda looked too fake. Puppet Yoda looked amazing.
Is that it?
Yeah.
That's his argument. So, all right, Skeletor, what do you think?
Oh, by the way, Skeletor, I got something to show you. Guys, just so you know, it's going to go frozen for us here for a second.
What am I looking at here?
Bam!
That's the live action Jungle Book he's talking about.
I'm waiting for it to pop up.
No, it should be with Voodoo. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I can see it.
Or with...
Oh, okay. I see now.
And, you know, pulling that up, Jon Favreau does not get enough accolades for the amount of great movies.
Oh, I know.
I agree.
He really does a really great job.
Sorry, guys. I had to prove him wrong, so...
No, that's cool. Because there were so many of those, like, it felt like there was 2 or 3 of those that all came out, like, really close together.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I could have pulled up Mowgli, too, off of Voodoo and showed you it's a live-action fucking Jungle Book. So, to me, you really didn't prove me wrong. You just proved that there's multiple live-action fucking Jungle Books. One of them's named Mowgli, and the other one is the Jungle Book.
But that one's the
All right.
Disney version.
Stop it. Let's get back to my question.
I'm waiting.
I'm waiting on Skeletor.
To me, I had more fun watching CGI Yoda dance about and be a badass with the lightsaber. But nothing gives you the feels like Puppet Yoda. So that's actually really a difficult question. I mean, I love Puppet Yoda because that's OG. Everything's all about Puppet Yoda, and that's probably gonna be my answer is Puppet Yoda because that's where I get my feels from, and I really despise episodes 1 through 3 so much that will deter my answer from CGI Yoda. Other than the fact that I thought it was badass that you actually got to see Yoda do something instead of be carried around and give stoner proverbs.
Smart you are.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely Puppet Yoda on that one.
All right, so we're all 3 in agreement on that one because definitely Puppet Yoda for me as well.
Yeah, that's where
and
the
it's
feels
for
come
exactly
from.
the reason you said. There's just more emotion attached to
Mhm.
that. I mean, Frank Oz did a phenomenal job.
I mean, Jim Henson.
Yeah, they all did
Didn't Jim Henson
really
do
good
the original Yoda too?
I think Frank Oz did the voice.
No, I meant the actual puppet.
The puppeteer.
Yeah, it was definitely his company.
That's what I
sure.
thought.
Yeah.
I mean, because honestly, they've used Jim Henson for so many movies. Nowadays, it's hard to tell what he hasn't been involved.
Yeah, but he was the
or what he
go-to guy
wasn't
at that
involved
time.
Yeah.
He really was. So it's like Industrial Light and Magic. They were the go-to people for stuff like that, for sure.
Now, pretty much when it comes to movies, ILM is nothing compared to Weta Workshop. Weta Workshop has taken over movies.
Yeah.
Look how many, I mean, in all honesty, and this is varying a little bit off Star Wars and Star Trek, but look how much Lord of the Rings revitalized getting rid of CGI for everything in the late 90s, early 2000s, and actually doing makeup and actual props that look decent.
Yeah.
That Weta Workshop did. And now they're pretty much they do 90% of what you see, especially fantasy, in movies.
You know what I accomplished watching Lord of the Rings?
What?
A 3-hour nap 3 separate times.
I've seen all 3 of them in the theater, and this is absolutely no lie. I actually fell asleep in all 3 times.
How the hell can you fall asleep during Lord of the Rings?
Very
It's
easy.
too long.
It's boring.
It's too much walking.
Exactly.
Too
It's so exhausting.
much walking. It's like, man, you spent a whole movie just on that mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, like just make it to the top already, for fuck's sake.
Right?
You know, I mean, sorry for cussing. I didn't mean that. But and I know you're in love with that, and I love that whole world and everything about that. But man, it just felt like those scenes, like it felt like they just drug it out. Like it just didn't need to be that long.
It needed to be that long, because if they didn't make it,
hardcore fans believe that, but
if they didn't make it that way, there was a lot they would have had to have left out.
That's fine. If it would have shortened it up and made one movie out of 3, I might have watched it. But instead, I managed to make it through the first 15 minutes of each one before falling asleep. So we'll say 2 hours and 45-minute nap.
And the only reason I say that is because that did not happen when the Hobbit series came out. Like, that kept my attention the entire time. You know, and that was the thing. The Lord of the Rings, it just, you know, and they're great movies. I don't want to take anything away from that. But they just seem a little.
Here's the difference. And this is probably why you fell asleep, Skeletor, to be honest with you. You have to, when you're watching them, get through the first hour, hour and a half of the extended version in order to because all 3 movies are just like books. You got to remember, they're 3 separate books. That what happened is they took, when you build a book, when you write a book, you are using a lot of the beginning of that book to build characters, to do all your character building. And that's what they were doing for the first hour, hour and a half of Lord of the Rings.
So basically what you're saying is that the first half of the first movie is introducing you to these certain characters. The first half of the second movie is reintroducing you to these certain characters. No, because you have new characters. And then the third movie, they spend the first half of the movie reintroducing you to these certain.
No,
Robert, name another movie that you have to get through the first hour and a half of before it becomes interesting. Most movies don't even last more than an hour and a half.
3, and you have to do it 3 times.
Honestly, there's a lot of movies like that. I fall asleep sometimes during Star Wars.
Well, I do too,
the movie about the Bible was shorter than that.
I think you're right.
But yeah, the thing is, it's not they're reintroducing all the characters. They're introducing all the new characters, because you get new characters every single time.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you remember this guy? His name is Gandalf, and he's a certain color right now. But don't worry, in a couple of years, he's gonna be Professor Dumbledore. But
he was never Dumbledore.
He's going. I thought
no.
Ian McKellen was never Dumbledore.
Oh, that's right. It was Ian McKellen. That's right. But then all of a sudden, Gandalf's a different color. Who the fuck is this guy? Why does he look like the other Gandalf? Where did he get his new outfit from? I know where he got his new outfit from. No explanation either, Robert.
The KKK.
Exactly. But holy shit.
He died and became the head of the KKK as the White Wizard.
It took them an hour and a half to reintroduce Gandalf with just a different color.
Because he wasn't the original Gandalf.
But it was the same guy.
But he wasn't the original character.
He was just wearing a different outfit.
We're not talking about Lord of the Rings. Move on.
Trust me, I could go 10 hours talking Lord of the Rings.
Yes, he could, and I can't. So I'd have to get through the first 5 hours before it became interesting.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. We'd have to make it through the first 5 in order for it to be interesting to us.
All right, so I have another either or for you. This is going to be tough for our host.
Oh boy.
Since we were talking about Jon Favreau, J.J. Abrams or George Lucas?
JJ. It just seems like JJ has got the better storylines. And the style of directing.
Better storylines than a 1977 Star Wars.
And the
movie.
style of directing is 10 times better.
Okay. All right, Skeletor.
Okay, so I will say that Ron Howard has done an impeccable job. I dare say he did better than Lucas. So I'm going to have to go J.J. Abrams.
So, Anthony, are we right or wrong?
Well, here's the thing. It's a tough one. It really is. I was hoping for more discussion between the two of you. I have this real love-hate relationship with George Lucas.
I do too.
And that's where the struggle comes in.
George Lucas screwed up the middle three, so...
Well, George Lucas screwed up other things than that, in my personal opinion. So, it's... As a director, George Lucas has brought more emotion out of me than J.J. Abrams.
Mm-hmm.
Are J.J. Abrams' movies more fun to watch? Sure. I can probably agree with that. But as an imaginative director with a limited budget and all of that, I feel like George Lucas is the better director. But I don't like that it became so commercial after the movie. It was all based on toys and all this other stuff that went along with it. And he put Star Wars on everything he possibly could. Toys to Campbell's soup. I remember one time I was in the aisle and I saw Yoda's picture on a can of Campbell's soup, and I'm like, God, I wonder what kind of soup that is. Like I really don't want a Yoda flavored soup. Like I don't even think that would be, anything decent. But and J.J. Abrams, I think, has learned from other people. He's definitely exciting, but do I think his stories have the same kind of depth?
Made from green tomatoes, it is.
George Lucas, and then he puts John Williams with it, and it's just this magic that, how do you replicate that? Has J.J. Abrams ever done anything that was his own, that he wasn't, on the shoulders of someone else who had already made something great and just kind of elevated it? That's fine, but, make something on your own, original, and let us be able to judge that. So, unfortunately, I have to go with George Lucas, even though I have this kind of love-hate for him. That's my reason. But Skeletor, you got to give us an either-or, man. It's just one.
Gosh, this is difficult. Okay. Let's see. We've done the count.
We never did do the Enterprise versus the Falcon. We were talking about that before the show, weren't we?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about it.
Yeah.
And here is, we all probably know each other's answer to this question, but I'm still going to ask it anyways. Because we've done a lot of, either this bad guy or that bad guy, or this good guy or that good guy, or this ship or that ship, or this pilot or that pilot. But we never have asked the main question of the entire show. Which one? Star Wars or Star Trek?
Good one. That's very good. That's very good.
Star Wars.
Why?
Just simply because it has a longer story. It has one that pulls you in more. Yeah, the characters, and a lot of the characters, in my opinion, are better on the Star Trek side. But the Star Wars story pulls you more into that world. And does, with Star Trek, they've changed it up so many times and never stayed straight as an arrow like Star Wars has. Star Wars has pretty much stayed straight as an arrow and not changed up the story. Whereas Star Trek, in order for them to bring it to a new generation, every time they have to change the story. Whereas Star Wars, they've pretty much stuck with the three main characters, or well, the four main characters, in a sense, through all 9 movies. If you really want to be honest. Because Leia was in all 9. Luke will be in 7. Or, well, no. Okay. Leia was in 7 of the 9.
7 of 9, huh?
Well, technically, though, if you want to be totally honest, Leia and Luke were in all 9. If you really want to be honest. Because here's the thing.
I'll let you have 8. I don't know if I can do 9.
No, because here's the thing. I'm going to get medical now.
Oh, now he's
I know
talking
you are.
about
Sperm and eggs
sperm.
are not recreated. They are not reproduced. Sperm and eggs are always there. It's just when they get released. So, in Padme Amidala, she had the egg in her
We can move along
that
from
was
this
going to go
conversation.
into Luke and Leia. So, really, Leia was in all 9. Sorry, I had to get medical there, but it's the truth.
I don't think she
was
got a credit on
technically in
the
all
credits
9.
for that. Leia's egg played by.
But it's the truth. I mean, I'm being honest.
Jesus Christ.
It's a
Sorry I
stretch.
brought that up. Yeah.
It's a stretch,
All right, well,
but it's the truth.
My answer to that is definitely Star Wars. And, there's, it's just better. I wanted to ask, in West Virginia, do they spell Star Trek with an A? Because you keep saying Star Trek.
No, it's Trek.
I thought maybe down there they spelled it with an A because it's Star Trek. Just killing me with that anyway. But yeah, and kind of along the same lines, I didn't want to jump all over his, but yeah, I believe Star Wars was more relatable. Mm-hmm. Like you could see yourself in those characters, where the Star Trek thing was more about you were watching almost like a documentary about space travel. Okay. So what about you, Skeletor? What do you think?
I'm definitely a Star Wars fan, and because watching Star Trek and everything growing up, it didn't give me that sense of the same sense of emotion that Star Wars did, because Star Wars, as much as I hate episodes 1 through 3, there was always that anticipation of the new movie. And even though at first they might have known they were going to do 1 or 2 Star Wars movies, did they really think that they were going to be popular enough in order to make all of these movies? Yeah. And so you still had the anticipation going from the older movies too. Every time they announced that a new Star Wars movie was coming out, there was always that anticipation coming along with it, and it just didn't seem as exciting when they tried to give you the same anticipation with Star Trek. It just, Star Wars Monopoly was way cooler looking than Star Trek Monopoly. It's just, everything just had a better appeal to it. Granted, like you said, they were relatable. Like Robert said, they followed the path properly, and you had all the anticipation coming along with it. You had those little butterflies in the stomach and the heebie-jeebies when they were flying around and making all these sharp turns, this, that, and the third. You didn't get that shit from Star Wars too much. Because it's hard. It's really hard. Yeah, Star Trek, sorry. It's really hard to bank the Enterprise like it is the Millennium Falcon.
Now, I do have a question that's off topic, but it just popped.
As long as it's not about Lord of the Rings, I'm all right.
Or about reproductive organs, then I'm even better.
Or zombies.
No, this is about Anthony.
Oh, okay.
Oh. You said something a couple days ago that I didn't see the answer, and I want to know what the answer is.
You mean I snuck out and didn't answer something? I do that from time to time.
No, you said something in the chat of a live show.
Oh, okay.
That I don't know if I know I didn't see the answer. So I want to know if you got your answer. And
Fair
I
enough.
think you know what I'm about ready to ask.
I do so much in live chat, I don't even have a clue what you're talking about. So,
Were your man boobs okay to go on what she said?
Ruby Roo was dying. I think I got about 12 ha-has out of that deal. I don't know. I'm trying to get on that show so bad.
Did you not realize that I was sitting there in chat watching?
I didn't know that. That's funny. I doubt very many people even saw that. That was hilarious.
Now you're never going to live that down because I
Vape
saw
Stew
that.
the other day.
Yeah, now you're not going to live that down because I saw it.
No, because when I went back and when I was watching, because I got to see it kind of because it was delayed, so I got to see a little bit of it when I got off of that, and I'm like, man, my man boobs look huge on this. Maybe it'll be enough to get me onto that. That's what she said show. So I don't know. Maybe it might be. Yeah. But no, I did not get an answer. All I got was a lot of laughter, which is still pretty good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just shows. Even if I'm not chatting,
Yeah. You're still always watching.
I'm always lurking, watching.
Omnipotent Minuteman.
I'm gonna say that does creep me out just slightly. Just slightly.
Yeah, what's really gonna creep you out is the next parody video I got coming out. It should be out either tomorrow or the next day.
Oh no!
Nice.
Is it another Donald Trump?
No. It's actually a Post Malone parody.
Well, here's a parody for you to do. I dare you to do a Star Wars parody with your EP in a slave Leia costume.
And the funny thing is, I almost bought one of those for Megan a long time ago. So that's
I want to see the.
I know
that would be hilarious to see him put on.
See, and what you don't know about Drew is he'd rather be naked than have clothes on. So it's probably something I could work out. Halloween's just around the corner.
Now would be the perfect time to pick up the costume.
But if that happens, then that means I have to be Jabba.
Green Giant. No, really, you wouldn't have to be Jabba.
They would want me to be Jabba. Trust me.
Because you could put on a Jedi costume and embrace him at the end and swing away.
Aren't you a little fat to be a Jedi?
Or make him actually wear the white Leia costume with the buns. And make it from episode 4. Can you imagine seeing him with the beard in a Leia costume?
After he played Melania, I think anything is possible now for sure. I thought you were going to want him to play Chewie with that fucking outfit on because he kind of looks like that. So that was the next. Thank you for leading me into my next either or. This is what I was thinking of. Co-pilot, Chewie, Spock.
Ooh.
Thank you very much.
That is difficult. I have to go Spock. It's only logical.
Oh, great answer. Great answer.
I mean, I have to.
I understand why. I mean, there's no wrong answer in this particular one.
Yeah.
There are some wrong answers in some of the other ones, but this one really doesn't. All right, Skeletor, you're up.
I have to go Chewie. And the reason being is mainly because they brought the movie Solo out, and we got to see exactly how Han and Chewie met and how quickly their bond formed and how tight it was. Now, granted, Spock and Kirk, they had a friendship like none other, but it took a little while to get there, whereas these Chewie and Han, they saved each other's lives. And they formed their friendship out of a camaraderie that can only be found in a situation like that. You know, I know what it's like to form a friendship with somebody that you just met out on a battlefield,
Yeah.
and I know exactly how tight that can be. And it was that camaraderie between the two that they built, but you also saw it in every single movie. You didn't see them go at each other like Kirk and Spock did. You know,
But
they never really had that volatile relationship. They might have had disagreements, but it was always, you know, stupid shit that made you giggle. It wasn't they're going to get into a fight on the deck because Spock loses his cool, or you know, it's not going to be Search for Spock where they're or whichever one where Kirk and Spock had to fight to the death. It's just
see, here's the thing.
which
This
thing.
is where it is really technical.
Oh God,
You're bringing up the disagreements between Spock and Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the thing. The truth, for one, a lot of the disagreements that we know of today are from the new timeline, which changed everything.
So
We don't know the relationship that they had from the original timeline.
but that wasn't the question.
And that's where we have more response of their friendship. We saw more of their original friendship in the original timeline.
And we saw more of the original friendship of Han and Chewie from Solo, which is a new movie. I mean, it's what you're trying to say right now is a moot point because it really doesn't matter. It's just a comparative.
Yeah.
You know what we know by what we've seen, and with that includes the new movies, obviously, because they exist. And my answer isn't going to change.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying,
So,
I'm just throwing that out there because it's the truth, though. And I've also found that the true test of a friendship is when you can actually fight each other.
well,
And
yeah,
then 5 minutes
but
later be perfectly fine.
you know, here's another reason why I chose the way I did is because the closest friends that I have, the people that are in my circle, I have had the unique fortune to be able to build friendships with them immediately upon meeting. And you know, I also relate to the friendship between
Mm-hmm.
Chewie and Han a lot more on a personal level. Both sides of the story, both you know, meeting a friend on the combat field and then meeting friends in real life. I've been fortunate enough to build strong bonds with a few people upon meeting it, like you two. You know, I built strong bonds with both of you guys, and it was pretty much immediately upon meeting.
Yeah.
So, you know, it can't go wrong there. Now, how about exactly? All right, how about you? What you got?
See, I actually want to get foam and make me a solo blaster. I really do. I want to get me some foam and make me a solo blaster. That's my next goal. Is to get foam to actually make it.
Fair enough.
Because that's what as soon as I get out of this place and get a place that I actually have a garage, I'm going to start stocking it up with stuff that I can start making props and maybe start filming it too.
Hey, I already have a Nerf gun blaster, so mine works pretty well.
Hey, I don't want one that works. That's the difference. I want one just that
Drew
actually
did a good job
looks,
of putting those laser beams in the right place for me, so that was cool.
that actually looks 99.9% correct.
Gotcha.
And there's amazing things you can do with floor foam, with craft foam and floor foam. Have you ever seen some of the props they make with that stuff?
No.
Oh my goodness.
That I have, but I'm still interested in hearing what Anthony's either or answer is.
See, I was trying to get through just to see if he'd let me go or not.
No, of course
well,
not.
I have to agree with Skeletor. Chewie would definitely be my co-pilot for sure. And probably my argument for it is, yeah, and I love Spock. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Spock is awesome. But I think that just from my personality, I need a guy that is not, so dedicated to obeying the law, obeying whatever the regulations are. And I feel like if you like Spock as your co-pilot, then just set C-3PO next to you because he's got all that information. He's very, to the point. What are the odds? And this regulation says this, and this regulation says that. That's just not my way.
Whereas Spock is a lot like me. That's
right.
The difference.
So Chewie's got all this experience. I mean, how old is he in the Solo movie?
Yeah.
It's like he already, he's got that street smarts, that experience, that all of those other things that make him just so much better in my eyes.
Have we ever gotten that
co-pilot.
answer? How old Chewie really is?
Well, they mention it a couple of different times. It gets mentioned in the Clone Wars, I believe, when he's riding on the ship with Yoda. And then it also gets mentioned in.
When was he on the ship with Yoda? I just remember when he put Yoda into Yoda's little capsule ship.
Oh no, he's talking. Yeah, he's riding with when all the other Wookiees are fighting in the Clone Wars. He's actually standing there next to Yoda before.
Well, yeah, he's standing there next to Yoda's ship, but he wasn't.
And I believe they
mentioned
like his age at that point in time.
Oh, I don't remember them mentioning age. I'm gonna have to watch that again.
Yeah, but he's got some serious age to him by that point.
And he was triple digit age when they mentioned his age in Solo. I don't remember. It's funny. I just saw the movie
because we don't even know how old Wookiees live to be. I've looked it up a couple of times, but I mean it's never really mentioned in the movies per se.
They can be old motherfuckers.
Yeah, I figured Chewie would start getting more gray as time moves on, more elder looking, if you will.
Maybe he's still too young in order to show that type of age.
And, Spock breaks down and wants to, repopulate where Chewie doesn't know where any of his people are, and he still continues to fight for the rebellion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true, too.
So we could do the either or between the Millennium Falcon and the Enterprise. And you can choose whichever Enterprise that you would like.
I only know of two, so.
According to this, as of A New Hope, or I'm sorry, as of Return of the Jedi, he was 204 years old.
Okay.
So they're looking at when he is in The Force Awakens at 234. However, it turns out his age might be a little more complicated because he died at the ripe old age of 225.
Okay.
So it's up in the air, but he died at 225 years old.
Okay. So that means with those numbers, we can actually calculate how old Han Solo was when he died.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's do this Millennium Falcon Enterprise thing. Which one do you want?
For fighting Millennium Falcon.
You got to do overall. I mean, you can't just, you don't pick a car and get to replace the pieces, the ones you like and don't like. It's got to be the total package.
I'd have to say Millennium Falcon.
Millennium Falcon, really? Okay.
Just simply because it's more durable. Even though it's a piece of junk, it's more durable. And I'm using Han Solo's own words. He sometimes calls it a piece of junk. And
I thought it was hunk of junk.
Well, hunk of junk, piece of junk, it's the same thing. And mainly just because of its durability and because of L3's ability to pilot it and bank stuff like that to get away from situations.
Okay.
You notice again, I made sure to say L3's ability, not Han Solo's ability.
I see.
Well, we didn't ask if Han Solo was better than Enterprise. We asked if
You're putting too much, too much weight on that technology.
I'm going
Still
with Next Generation Enterprise.
Next Generation Enterprise. Okay.
One is because I only know of two Enterprises. You have the Kirk Enterprise and you have the Picard Enterprise. But
God, I can barely hear you.
Yeah, same here.
sorry, but the reason being is because to me the only advantage that it would seem that the Millennium Falcon had over the Enterprise would be its maneuverability capabilities, but the Enterprise has technology that negates that. You know, it's got more powerful weapons. It's got more powerful defenses. So it can move at the same speed. Okay, so it's bigger and it's not as maneuverable, but like I said, that's really a moot point. So I'm definitely going with Enterprise for sure. Plus, it's a moving city, and I think that's in space. I think that's pretty fucking dope.
Anthony?
Well, as much as I love the Millennium Falcon, I have to agree with Skeletor, unfortunately.
Wrong answer.
It's just a better ship. It just is. I mean, when you look at it realistically and you're talking about light speed, I mean, the Enterprise has like level 10 warp. You know, there's a lot. There's just so much more to that ship. Better weapons. I mean, look at the weapons on the Millennium Falcon. You got one blaster that drops down and will fire at stormtroopers. And you got those rickety things that you're trying to like, you know, I mean, you know, the Enterprise is targeting, you know, there's no targeting with that. It's just like, let's get him in the right square here and we might be able to shoot him.
Well,
I think technology wise, you know, all the way around, I have to go with the Enterprise.
well, see, here's something that's going to throw a little kink in that. How hard is it to bank that freaking Enterprise and turn around?
They don't have to bank. They just blow out of the way whatever there's in their way.
If you have a ship like I do right now that can literally do a 180 in 3 seconds over your ship.
360.
No, they can go 180 degrees and then an extra 180. So yeah, 360, but it's a huge circle and get behind your ship in less than 5 seconds.
Yeah.
The maneuverability of the Millennium Falcon can beat the guns and the new age equipment on the Enterprise easily, because all they would have to do is keep circling and keep going, stay behind the Enterprise, because once you're behind that ship, their guns aren't worth crap, because their guns
with that argument.
only point forward.
2 problems with that argument. Number 1, the shields on the Enterprise are going to be better than they are on the Millennium Falcon. So you're probably not even going to get through. And number 2, I'll just separate the saucer section off, and then let's have a battle. Because I got maneuverability then, and that is an option for me on the Enterprise.
True.
And I'll just rejoin up the saucer section once I blow you out of the sky.
And 3, haven't you ever heard of leading your target?
And you know Scotty would figure out a way to fix that situation. I wouldn't be surprised if the Enterprise had some tractor beam ability, just pull it in and just be over with. Just all done.
But yeah, if you got behind
I can see the Enterprise jumping, like, warp speed behind. Like, I don't care how fast you can roll around, I'm just going to keep jumping behind you. And your light speed doesn't work anywhere near as well as mine. So.
But see, that's the beauty of this show. You know, we're able to geek out and disagree, but we all have our passions and we think of different things. But you know what, guys? It is midnight. I know Anthony has to get
Holy
to bed.
crap. Yeah.
It's
I
almost
do have a job.
12:30. I
Oh,
want to
my
go down
word.
and eat the last bit of my dinner. I have a Stromboli sitting downstairs waiting on me. I love Strombolis. I can't help it. But we are going to get out of here. I will be back here tomorrow night for a DIY show for anyone that wants to learn to DIY. Although I don't think it's the answer for everybody right now, with given what's going on with the FDA and with the president and everything else, it is the answer for a lot of people. So that's why I'm going to keep the DIY show going. And then Tuesday night, I may be doing a show. We're not definite on that yet. I don't want to announce it or anything like that, except for just be on the lookout. But, so be on the lookout Tuesday night around 8 o'clock. May have a show. But, and hopefully Wednesday, Jen will feel up to hopping on to do NVR Live Wednesday night at midnight. So, we are heading out of here, guys. Anything you guys want to say before we head out?
I think next week we should do animated sci-fi that were turned into movies. What was better, the animated version or the movie version?
Okay.
Because you got Transformers, you got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, that's true. And technically, you can consider G.I. Joe sci-fi, too.
I would think so.
I would
Yeah.
think so too.
Yeah, so that should be a fun one. Let's do that next week.
Okay,
I'm
that
game for
works.
that. I'm game
I
for
like the either-or game, though. That's that works really well. It does. I wanted to do a game on one of these shows, and that's a really good game. Because like the chat could obviously get involved with this and be like, "Hey, give us an either-or," and then we'll just
that. For real.
bang
Yeah.
it out. So that should be a lot of fun.
But we are heading out of here, guys. We will see you guys in the next show. Hey, if you like what you've seen here, there's much more to come. Just click one of the two boxes up here in the corner. And you know what? If you've liked it, make sure to subscribe. Just click the little button right there. Talk to you later, guys.